All our chips and everything.
Call this special planning board meeting for January 6th to order. We have a quorum of 4 to 7 present. The first order of business is we're going to forego the approval of minutes from the last meeting. They will come forward together with this night's meeting on January 28th, our next meeting. Is that correct, Sean?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. We'll have the meeting for 2024 that we had, and also tonight's meeting on the 28th before. We're still working on a few more things we need to get in before we get them.
Yes, sir. Next order of business, election of the chair and vice chair for 2025. I open the floor to nominations with the chair first.
Nominate Mr. Wayne Sears if he'll accept it.
Second it.
First and second, I will accept. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair position is filled. Now time for the vice chair, who will fill the duties of the chair in his absence. Our nomination.
I nominate Dennis Evans.
I'll second.
Says you accept.
I do accept.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Dennis Evans will proceed as the vice chair for 2025. Sean, if you would, let's go to the planning board's duties
Yes, sir,
and
Mr. Chairman.
obligations.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Once again, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for coming out to this special call meeting. As you can discover in your package, Town Manager Nancy and myself, we update our zoning ordinance, and once again, we was omitted to put in duties for the planning board. We feel like this is something that needs to be in the town general ordinance under the land use plan. The Board of Adjustment does have duties, that what they have to do with the planning board also has duties. We will not go through all of these verbatim, but we'll just highlight some of the hot topics that we thought would be able to stand out for the planning board. Of course, the board consists of 7 members, 6 who reside in the town of Nashville, 1 who resides in ETJ. We will still continue the tradition of what we've been doing now. The 6 in town will be appointed by the town council, a recommendation. The 1 in the ETJ, which is Mr. Evans, will be recommended by the Nash County Board of Commissioners. And congratulations, Mr. Evans. You got reappointed today to be on the Board of Adjustment by the Board of Commissioners today. It's been a good day.
It'd be
right?
good to know that before I actually accepted vice chair.
Right. So you just got reappointed on the Board of Adjustments, but it pretty much consists with that. We changed the meetings because we leaked out on the 4th Tuesday at 6 p.m. Now unless we have a special call meeting. That is in the bylaws. It explains about the chairman and the vice chairman duties. Section 18250 once again talks about the officer and duties of the vice chair and the chairman and the secretary. Of course, the secretary of the board will be Mrs. Jones. She does all the minutes for the board. Then if you go to 18251, it talks about the duties of the planning board. And this is pretty much what you guys do on the guideline lays for Ms. Collier and Ms. Lewis. What y'all do on a consistent basis as the planning board. We meet on legislative matters, rezoning, text amendment matters, construction plans for subdivisions, final plans for approving town council, make recommendations of. So all of that's broken down in 251 of what your duties are. And that pretty much is the entire package for the planning board duties. It's not that much, but as I stated earlier, Town Manager Lansing and myself thought it would be worthwhile to have this in our general ordinance. So when citizens do call to ask, hey, what does the planning board do? We can refer them to the land use chapter of our ordinance, say section 18251 goes over all the duties of what a planning board member has to do in this forward. We are here to discuss this tonight. This is not an action item because we have to hold a public hearing on this. Then it will be a text amendment in the ordinance. We have to do a public hearing before the planning board and the town council. We scheduled that public hearing for the 28th meeting to handle that night. Do y'all see any corrections in the duties that we have discovered for the planning board that you would like to make change or any recommendation? If you don't have done tonight, we can talk about it and have it ready for the public hearing in the next meeting.
And am I reading this correct, that if we have a quorum, once the quorum is established, if any member has to recuse himself, it does not hinder the quorum that was originally established?
According to this, that's right.
I think it's
And
well
we
written.
can get our town attorney just to verify that. But according to what we found, these were the duties that other towns and cities had for their planning board. So it has to be pretty much approved already through their town and city.
I think it's well written, it covers what we need. Anybody want to recommend that they It's tidying this up, moving on for our next meeting, or a hearing. All members believe that be appropriate, so if you'll arrange this to be distributed prior to the next meeting corrections, we will present it at our next meeting.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, we will get the notice ran and the graphic for the next 2 weeks to let everybody know that be on the committee and on the council, February the 4th meeting, the town council.
Very good.
All right, Mr. Chairman, our next thing we have is the rezoning of Old Bailey Highway. Mr. Barnell is here to represent the applicant. We did ask earlier if anybody who would like to sign in on this matter. Once again, nobody else has come in, but we'll poll the audience again. Does anybody want to speak for or against the rezoning of Old Bailey Highway with Mr. Barnell here for South here to represent the owner? Yeah, we would need to sign it, but we'll let you, we'll call you up and then we'll get you signed in tonight. That's no problem. Mr. Chairman, as you can see before you, we have a rezoning application. The rezoning application was prepared by Stocks Engineer, Mr. Kevin Barnett, on behalf of 3MR LTD Partnership. The applicant, Mr. Barnett, has met all of the town's requirements of what we asked for a rezone application. He's answered every question. We'll go through them at the end of the staff report. He has also turned in meets and bounds of the property, let us know where the property begins and where it ends at. And if you open up your staff report to page 1, as we always say, for the sake of time, we will not go through everything verbatim, word for word, but we'll just make sure that we get the things that are very much purpose for tonight. So once again, this was turned in by Mr. Barnell on behalf of 3MTR LTD, LLC, say that 3 times fast. And for this property, you are looking at a rezoning. They're asking to rezone this property to 09. If you look to the north of the property, it's R10, it's vacant land. If you look to the south, it's A1, which is presently residential farmland. If you look to the east, it's 09 and A1 farmland, and to the west is I1, it's a cemetery and farmland. Existing zoning is R10 at the present moment. R10 defined in our zoning ordinance is defined as a medium density residential area, mostly single-family dwellings, and certain open areas where similar residential development will likely occur. Use permitted in this district are designed to stabilize and protect all activities of residential natures, except certain homes, occupations controlled by specific limitations. What Mr. Barnell for 3MR is proposing is 09. The 09 district defined as a certain land area with structures that provide office space for professional service and for certain institutional functions and residential accommodations. Usually medium or high density. Districts normally smaller may include older homes undergoing conversion. The district is usually situated between business and residential districts, and regulations are designed to prevent development of functions are still protected and be compatible with nearby residential districts. If you look at our 2021 National Comp Plan, it has this property deemed as low density residential. Residential include detached single-family homes, manufactured homes, agricultural, forestry parks, assembly, gathering, schools, and similar rural uses should be allowed. Density classification is 1 to 3 units per acre. Preferred use of single-family dwellings or institutional uses. Subject property is 9 acres of undeveloped tract of land owned by 3MR LTD Partnership located off South Olson Street, Old Bailey Highway in Nashville. Primarily agricultural one zone district within the town of Nashville, ETJ. If you look at the map right here on the agenda report, you can see that everything around this property is A1. This property was rezoned to R10, and adjacent to it is R10. Our project history for this project, Mr. Barnell with Stocks Engineering, is the applicant requested rezone of a total 9-acre tract for the above said location. Rezone application was received on December 9, 2024. Public hearing notice letters were mailed out approximately to 35 property owners within a 500-foot radius of December 6, 2024. The rezoning sign was posted on the property on December 6, 2024, and photos were taken. Please see the letters and photos, which is the next. The legal notice was advertised in National Graphic on December 26, 2024, and January 7, 2025 for the plan board and town council public hearing meetings. The front door town hall was posted on December 6, 2024. Town website was updated of the notice of the special call meeting on December 10, 2024. Front door town Nashville Harold D. Cool Library and Parks Recreation Center was posted on December 6, 2024. Such property is not located in the floodplain. Such property is not located in the Tar River Reservoir. Tar River watershed and Upper Tar sub-watershed. Such property is located within NCDQ Water Supply Watershed, WSIB NSW. The town natural feature lands map has this property classified as low density residential. And if you look above the property history, you can see this property is classified as low density. Next thing we have board is the pictures of the property. We posted sign once again on December 6th, it's showing that. We have in our packet the Nash County GIS map, which shows this property as 9 acres. They're asking rezoning from R10 to O&I. The property is in flood zone X, that means it's not in the flood zone. The property is in the Stony Creek, Upper Stony Creek watershed, and the property is located in WSIB NSW watershed. Next, we have a picture of the property, how it looked off Google Earth. So as we proceed on into the agenda report, reasonable spot zoning, general rezoning request for RZ 2024-05. We are in 2025, but then this application was submitted in 2024. We gave it 2024 rezoning number. It's reasonable in public issue because one, the request is not spot zoning because the subject property will be rezoned for residential use and development similar to the other adjacent properties to the north, south, west, and east. As you look around this property, it is agricultural land with all residential properties around it. Approval of the request will permit future development that mirrors existing land use surrounding the proposed property. As we know, we don't know what they're going to plan with this property. Making it O&I is kind of a broad spectrum of what you can do. O&I, you can have multi-family, you can have single-family dwellings, you can have all personal office space, institutional, medical facilities, any type of facilities. O&I is our broad range of zoning in the town. And number 3, the town Nashville O&I zone district is the least intensive versus using conditional rezoning, which only gives the developer a limited choice of use. Of course, we were doing a conditional rezoning on this. We only could give the developer what they want to do. Rezoning, traditional O&I rezoning, gives the developer a chance to look at the town orders and see what they want to do with the property, and it makes it very marketable if the owner wants to put it up for sale. TRC recommendations. Kevin Barnell will start through your firm, no owner has submitted any plans yet due to the property owner not having any plans at the present moment for the town. As we stated, the property owner just wants to get the property rezoned. Right now, there's no plans on the table or no future development, what they want to do. They're just looking to get rezoned overnight. So, Mr. Chairman, that is my staff report. If we go back and look at applications, Mr. Barnell has some questions to answer on behalf of him and the representative. Describe how the rezoning request is consistent with the town of Nashville comprehensive plan, zoning ordinance, or any other official plans of the applicant. Proposed request is consistent with the town's comprehensive plan by continuing commercial and residential opportunities along existing with water and sewer. We do have water and sewer that we can get there. It's just that they would have to run it to the property if it's not there. Explain how the rezoning request will update the existing ordinance if there are any inconsistencies with the town of Nashville comprehensive plan, zoning ordinance, or any other official plans that is applicable. The proposed request will update the zoning map. Of course, if we do rezone the overnight, we will have to make inform the Nashville GIS that this property has been rezoned from R10 to overnight. Explain why the rezoning request will be applicant, beneficial and great public interest of the area sought by rezone. The proposed request is applicant because it encourages mixed-use growth along the existing water and sewer infrastructure. Explain whether the rezoning request will adversely affect the adjoining property owners and alter the character of the area. The proposed request will have the meet all town ordinance, including stormwater. The project will not be adversely impact on any adjacent properties. Briefly explain the accessibility impact of adequate public facilities, services, fire and safety, infrastructure, parks and recreation, stormwater drainage, topography, etc. that is currently available at the subject property. Both water and sewer are along the frontage of the property. The proposed use will allow further growth of the town without adverse effects to existing infrastructure. Mr. Chairman, that is my staff report for this property right here. Of course, being that this is a public hearing matter, we will have to open it up to the public for their discussion. Did they have any comments they would like to make to the board for approval or disapproval of this rezoning request? Mr. Barnell is here on behalf of the applicant, so I would ask for you to open up the public hearing, and I would yield to Mr. Barnell to come and speak to the board, entertain any questions you may have, and then we can entertain any comments from the public if they have any, sir.
And you're showing this is 24-05, correct?
Yes, sir, it's 24-05, being that this was applied for in the 2024 year, and the next one will have to be a 2025.
If you have You have the approval, disapproval sheet with you. I do
Yes,
not
sir.
have one for 05, I've got one for 04.
Yes, sir, we have with, so we'll make sure with the suggested motion, whichever one you guys decide to go with tonight, that we have the right language for you guys to be able to use tonight for your motion. I'll make sure I have it for you.
I declare a public hearing open for RZ 2024-05 at this time.
Yes, sir. I will yield to the public comment section and Mr. Barnell first, and then you come back for any questions and suggested motion discussion, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Barnett?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, planning board members, Kevin Varnell with Stocks Engineering representing the developer. Just like Sean said on this one, we do not have a specific use, so it's a fairly unique rezoning. Typically, we come to you guys with an actual plan and what we're proposing for the site, so we can talk a little more specifics than we can on this one. This is essentially a location that we chose based on where it is in relation to the existing sewer and water system. So right now, if you're coming out Old Bailey Highway, just to the northwest of the site is the existing Austin Street pump station. So sewer is immediately adjacent to the site along with the water. And this is that corridor that kind of pushes out to Cook Road where the industrial park is. So it seems a logical location to have that natural transition from office and institutional, to that residential space. And again, kind of what started this project was a need for residential and a request for residential in this corridor. So that's kind of why we pushed for this O&I rezoning. Other than that, like I said, we don't have a lot of specifics at this time, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
It pertains to the same thing I had mentioned earlier prior to the before the meeting was opened up. And Mr. Lucas read that it's in the Stony Creek watershed. Can you explain how it's in the Stony Creek watershed, yet the water flows to Saponi Creek, which goes to the reservoir?
Right.
And Stony Creek does not go to the reservoir, it goes to Rocky Mount above the falls.
Yeah, so ultimately Stony Creek ends up in the Tar River Reservoir through the Tar River.
No,
No,
Stony Creek
it
is
does bypass, that's right, it does bypass. So everything kind of to the south of town, there's a line that comes right through the middle of Birchwood Country Club
Yeah.
and comes to the south. All of that is in the watershed, which ultimately they say drains to the Tar River Reservoir, which is why it's in that watershed. The only real restrictions we have are the impervious areas that we're allowed to have. So if it's non-residential, then we're allowed to do 36% impervious on the site. If it's residential with curb and gutter, then we're allowed to do 24%. So there's a mix in there of what we're allowed to do, but ultimately there's a development limitation on how much impervious surface we can have on that specific site. Other than that, it still falls under the same stormwater criteria that we have for the rest of town, being we have to meet the state's criteria for the pre versus post, making sure we don't discharge more after development than we do pre-development, and then also we have to meet the water quality requirements that the state has. So other than the only thing the watershed adds additional to the current town stormwater would be that additional impervious restriction where you can't develop the entire site 100%.
But in your comment,
But all that water from that particular piece of property that is in question, all of that water flows to Saponi Creek.
Right.
Again, why is Stony Creek mentioned?
I have no idea why Stony Creek is mentioned. Like I said, it's
So
an
Stony
area.
Creek is this way, Saponi Creek is on the
That's
other
right.
side of the hill.
It's an area
on the other side of
defined-
the railroad tracks.
Right, the area defined by DEQ. I don't know why Stony Creek is mentioned.
Is that just a clerical error?
That could be a clerical error, that's something we may have to get with Nash County GIS or even with NTDQ to get those answers. But that's something that we can look into just to make sure
If
we
it's
got
just a
it.
clerical error for
Because
accuracy,
according,
can we go ahead and move forward and y'all straighten that out?
yes, sir, because right now we have to go by what is recommended on the GIS map, and that's what they're showing Tar River and Lower South Lee Creek. But it's something that we can look into with NTDQ later on to see if it was a clerical error made on the state for somebody at the county side.
Okay.
with GIS later.
Anything else, Mr. Barnett? Mr. Barnett, if you'll remain in case we have a follow-up statement.
Oh, yeah.
Any other members from the public would like to speak on this matter? If so, come forward and state your name and address. Yes, ma'am. Would you like to speak on this?
Just a little bit.
It's fine. State your name and address for us, what you.
Okay, my name is Sharon Douglas, and my address is 304 Shell Castle Road. However, that property that I think he's referring to, I have a property over there. So I really just trying to get some clarity on exactly where my property sits according to his plan. I don't know if he could possibly, those Google Earth, that could be emailed that, because it looks like a PowerPoint or something. So if I could get the email, I want to be emailed that so I can see exactly where my property sits in relation to his plan.
Can we get our address?
We good, Mr. Chairman. You just leave me your email address. We can get some sent out to you by the end of this week on Google Earth image of your property compared to where this property is located, so we can be able to see it.
Okay, one extra question.
Yes, sir.
So when we go out this way, I'm just trying to get my logistics straight. When we go out this way, we're at the city limit sign, and you're going straight down by the library and keep going.
Right.
So what part of that property are you referring to? Like you're talking about across the railroad track?
Correct. We go across the railroad track, and then you're almost at the edge of town where the farm fields start.
Okay.
So you cross over, there's a little creek there, there's a pump station on the right. So we've now gone past the church, past 6th Street on the left, and then it would be where you start to get to the farm field. So ultimately, you can kind of see up at the top where we cross the creek, and then everything is farm field outside of town on that first field on the left is what we're talking about. So
That's where the city limit sign is also, isn't it?
it should be
It
close
should be
there.
right there around that area.
George Foster home, the
Right.
last home on the left. Are
That's
you
what the
familiar
sign
with
is at.
Foster Landscaping?
I am very,
All right,
so
the open land, undeveloped land,
further down.
Just
on
past
the
George
left,
Foster.
yes ma'am, that's
Okay,
it.
so basically you just kind of wanted to residents that are in that area to be aware that you're trying to get rezoned as, you're trying to get a rezoning change because it's a possibility, based on what you said. It may not be residential, but it's a problem, that's gonna be some development there.
In the future at some point, that's right.
Okay, and you mentioned residential, you mentioned office, you mentioned
Yeah, so
medical.
Yeah, and Sean can go into this in more detail. I'd be happy to go through it with you. But O&I is office and institutional. It's a good mix between business, a commercial district like Hardee's, McDonald's. It's not that, and it's not your single family residential 20,000 square foot lots. It's that in between zoning that allows us to give a little flexibility to have some mixed use type stuff where we could do residential in the back and commercial, some lightweight commercial at the front. It's more like offices, like different kind of like insurance office could go there or something like that, but it would be office and institutional. So anything that's office related or lightweight residential. Does that make sense?
It does. So it's gonna increase the property value of the people in the area.
Well, it could. So ultimately, anything new, certainly helps property values not go down. But as far as increasing the property values, that really has more to do with the market locally. No matter what we've done in town, all of our house prices have gone up. So your house value has more to do with the market more so than it does what happens next door. But this certainly wouldn't hurt anything that's happening inside.
And I think I may have omitted, but what was the vision as far as what's the longevity, what's the time frame of the project?
So, ultimately, we don't know. There was a project that kind of came through that needed something really, really fast. That project kind of fell out because of timing and things like that. So the owner said, well, if someone's interested in it, let me go ahead and get it out of agricultural and get it zoned correctly. And that way, the next time they come by, it's not such a firestorm trying to get everything together in place. So, to be honest, it could be 5, 10 more years. The owner is a farmer, and he will continue to be a farmer. So there's no intent to develop, but it's there in case somebody is interested.
Okay, thank you. I use my,
Directly, if you're standing on South Austin Street or Old Bailey Highway and you see this property and the Foster's are to your left and Nashville, directly behind that, they call it a creek. That's more like a branch or even a ditch that's got water flowing when it rains. East of that is Oakland Cemetery.
right.
And south of Oakland Cemetery is very low land. It's too wet for development for homes unless you're gonna put them on stilts or something like that.
Thank you.
We got it on the Google Earth map, if you can see it, that's if you leave out of town, that's the property right there.
Okay.
And if you can get a chance, just make
Did that
sure you
help-
put up
did
your
that
name
answer
and
your question?
address.
That provide more clarity.
Any other public comments? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Sean?
Mr. Chairman, being that Mr. Barnell with Stotts Engineering, that's representing the owner of this property, 3MR Ltd., has made all of the approvals that we asked for rezoning. Yes, we did not get a site plan, but as we stated earlier, there is no plan for this property right now. They just want a rezoning to be able to build a market value for this property. I would make recommendation and recommend approval of the rezoning from the R10 district to O&I for this property. And as you see, we have your suggested motions right here on this. If the board is for this rezoning, then you would say you're for it. I have a statement of plan consistency. Rezoning 2024-05 is consistent with the recommendation of 2021 Town Nashville Comprehensive Land Use Plan because such property is located in a designated residential agricultural area, and the proposed request is consistent with the residential development anticipated by the plan for this area, particularly where potable water sources can be made available. The property does have road frontage along South Austin Street, Old Bailey Highway. According to our plan, we want to rezone properties do have road frontage, so it doesn't mean this property is okay within a residential and multi-family use. It will not disturb the harmony of the existing neighborhood. Being as agricultural, you can pretty much get residential items, so it's not disturbing the harmony. And it's legal in the public interest, not spot zone, because the subject property already is and will continue to be zoned for residential use similar to the adjacent surrounding properties. That is the plan consistency if you are going to approve it. Of course, if you're going to deny it, we have to say it's consistent with recommendation of the 2021 Town Nashville Comprehensive Land Use Plan because such property is located in the designated residential agriculture area. And the requests for O&I are consistent with the residential development anticipated by the plan for this area, particularly where public water and sewer can be made available, but it's unreasonable and in the public best interest that we would have to specify why we thought disapprove this property for O&I is not in the public best interest and unreasonable for the town. Mr. Chairman, I will yield back to you and the board to have some deliberation on and then suggest a motion, whether you can either three ways tonight, approve, disapprove, and we can table it for another time to discuss it, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'll give back to you and the board, sir.
Make the motion. That we approve the request.
Mr. Strickland says he believes this is consistent with approval based on what the planning board has told us. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Harper. Any more comments? Call the question then. All in favor say aye. Opposed? It is unanimously passed.
Thank you, board, and Mr. Barnell, I will get the letter out stating this did pass rezoning that you can get to Prince Williams at 3 Board members, as you can see, our next action item on the agenda was another rezoning for the property neighboring this property. We did speak with the person who submitted the application, Mr. Doug Nixon. Doug Nixon did ask to have this pulled off of the calendar agenda tonight, and he said once everything gets worked out on his end, he may be back to ask for a rezoning of this property. As of right now, we will omit this one. So we'll move to number 7, which is the conditional rezoning of 2 properties off Cook Road with a parcel number 336591 and 315263. We have applicant, WEK LLC, Wright Incorporation, who is applying for this rezoning. They're asking to have this property rezoned from industrial 1 to conditional rezoning NR. That is one of our new districts that we just have adopted in our zoning districts due to not having conditional rezoning in our zoning ordinance. Parcel 336591 with access off Cook Road and parcel 315263 with access off Cook Road and Commerce Street was rezoned by the town of Nashville. Now the applicant, WEK LLC, is applying for it. Has requested the property off Cook Road, which is in the town of Nashville ETJ limits, was in our town limits. That was asking for the property conditional rezone from I1 to CZNR, conditional zoning non-residential for a better use of the village use. The property off Cook Road has a parcel number 315263, and the other property has a parcel number 336591. Property resides in town of Nashville town limits, which is in our business park. The purpose of rezoning this property is for the applicant to utilize conditional rezone to be able to use the land to allow all of his zone requests through the conditional process. If we look at the lay of the land that has laid out there in our industrial flex tech business park, in the north, I-1 is present, and that's vacant right now. That's the vacant lot across from where he's asking. A1 is presently, that's residential farmland. A1 is some residential single-family dwellings out there. To the west is I-1 industrial mercantile. And our I-1 industrial mercantile is all the business areas out there in the flex tech town Nashville business park. As this is zone as I-1, the I-1 district is defined as a certain land so situated as to be suitable for industrial development, usually along railroad sidings or major thoroughfares, where certain operation could adversely affect nearby properties. The purpose of this district is to permit the normal operation of almost all industrial inspecting those that will be detrimental to adjoining properties. Excluded from the district are those industries which are not by the emission of smoke, dust, fumes, glares, noise, and vibration, and all those industries which deal with primarily as products such as explosives. Selected business use are also applicable in this district. What WKLLC is asking for is conditional non-zone residential district. It refers to a zone district with the specified permitted use as detailed within the orders authorized by North Carolina General Statute 160D-703. Imposition of reach out and agreed upon individualized development conditions to allow as part of legislative rezoning process. Purpose of non-residential conditional district, NCR CD, is provided for a unified non-residential development, which may include residential components that accomplish the purpose of applicable regulation to the equivalent of the higher degree that where such regulations are intended to control development on individual lots and to promote economical and efficient land use and improve level of amenities, appropriate and harmonious barriers, creative design, and a better environment. The NRCD district is intended to be used for the purpose of boundary development to a detailed site plan with a list of specified conditions that ensure compatibility and harmony with the surrounding areas. This shall be located in such a manner not to be capable with the care of existing development or surrounding properties. As we go to our 2021 Town Nashville Comprehensive Plan, it says existing will be industrial. That's what it is right now. The preferred use in our industrial from our comp plan is research facilities, logistics and distribution facilities, commercial industrial operations, and government facilities. Being that this is conditional rezoning, the applicant has the right to ask for a slate of table allowed uses in one district. These are the uses they're asking for, so if it does pass conditional rezoning non-residential, these are the uses we are granting the applicant. And if the applicant decides within 2 to 3 months later when the process gets going, or even 2 to 3 years later when the process gets going, then I want to add something new. Of course, the applicant would have to come back before the planning board and Town of Nashville Town Council for the approval. What the applicant is asking for tonight out of our table allowed uses is eating and drinking establishments, a garden center, farmer's market, produce stand, farm supply store, greenhouse wholesale operations, greenhouse on premise sale, alcohol, liquor facility, community center, or conference center. All 4 of those are grouped as one in one of our table allowed uses, so we put all 4 of them down. Theater, outdoor amphitheater, school vocational trade, manufacturing, assembling, processing, recreation, facilities, outdoor and retail. The applicant is also asking for a processing facility, museum, animal feed preparation, manufacturing, packing and distribution, distillery, microbrewery, seafood preparation, packing and distribution, winery, park, campground, recreational vehicle park, health and personal care facility, short-term rentals, host and non-host occupied, storage of goods, indoor and outdoor, and warehousing. All this is allowed in our CZNR zoning district. As we always say, even if this property is sold, the conditional rezoning stays with the property if he decides to sell it to somebody else. Description of the subject property is 35.24 acres of undeveloped tract land owned by the town of Nashville at the present time of building staff report and located on Cook Road. Primary industrial I-1 zone district within the town of Nashville limits. The site is located beside commercial building and residential. Second property is 3.3 acres of undeveloped tract land in the town of Nashville located on Cook Road, Commerce Street, Nashville. Primary industrial I-zone district within the town of Nashville limits. The site is located beside commercial building and residential. If you turn over to our next page, you can see in our zoning right here, where this is all our industrial one in town Nashville Flex Business Industrial Park. If you look at the future land use map, the future land use maps on the next page has this slated as industrial for rezoning, which is already industrial. But being that the owner wants more use than just one, if it falls down one, he decided to go with conditional non-residential rezoning to allow this. Project History, WEK LLC is the applicant requesting to rezone a total of 38.37 acres at the above said location. Rezone application was received on December 16, 2024. Public hearing notice was mailed out to approximately 12 property owners within a 500-foot radius. December 17, being that the number was so small, is due to the size of the lots out there. So the 500 feet buffer kind of hits a lot of people, it just hits everybody within that window. The rezoning sign was posted on the property December 16, 2024, with notice were taken. Legal notice was advertised in Nashville, graphic on December 26th and January 2nd. The planning board meeting was scheduled for January 6, 2025. Hearing scheduled to be heard before the town council on January 7, 2025 meeting. Planning if the planning board reaches a decision tonight. Of course, they don't, it will not be heard by the town council tomorrow night. Front door to town hall was posted on December 9, 2024. Front door to town Nashville Herald, including library and recreation center, was posted on December 9, 2024. Such a property is not located within a floodplain. Such a property is not located within Stone Creek watershed, upper Stone Creek southern watershed. Such a property is not located within the NCDQ water supply watershed. Property will be provided with water and sewer through the town of Nashville. And of course, with notices, we have a 10 to 15 day window to notify everybody in the area of the rezoning. Of course, we try to get ours out 30 days ahead of time, give people a chance to have some due diligence to do that, take time off to get to meet tonight. And of course, we did meet the requirements of North Carolina legislators of 2 consecutive weeks in the newspaper for this rezoning. As we continue on to the next page, this is a copy of Nash County GIS just showing the property what Mr. Carnegie and his team is asking for rezoning. Same thing on the next page is showing once again that this is industrial and business flex state park. As you move over to the page after the next one where it says Nashville 2021 comp plan identifies the future Cook Road Industrial Tech Flex Park within town Nashville limits. So it's been identified in our limits for this in our comp plan. Some Google Earth photos for you. Probably a picture being posted or we going out and post it. And now the planning board is asked tonight to review this rezoning request and make recommendations to the town council with written statement. Since that's all we're doing tonight. From making these recommendations, the planning board should consider the following factors. This I do this, we have to do as a planning board to make these recommendations. One, is proposable accordance with the land use plan surrounding planning principles. That's the first question we have to ask ourselves. Second one, is there any convincing demonstration that all use permitted under the proposed district classification or proposed text amendment will be the general public issue and not merely in the interest of the individual small group? Well, as I said, this conditional zone non-residential in the public best interest and not just in the best interest of the applicant right now. Is there any convincing demonstration that all use permitted under the proposed district classification would be appropriate? There, including proposed change. Is there any convincing demonstration that the character of the neighborhood would not be materially or adversely affected by the use of the permit to proposed change? As again, we went through the description of the rezoning request. Property owner developer has submitted conditional rezone application, CZNR01, to rezone such a property for development proposed due to the use of asking for available with certain conditions. This is why conditional rezone is utilized to rather than developers be able to categorize certain land. Consistent with the comprehensive land use plan. This rezoning is consistent with 21-1 Town National Comp Plan and conditional non-residential because one, Cook Road Industrial Tech Flex Park promotes a mixture of commercial industrial use that supports the tax space while encouraging enterprising business to create a flexible space for a variety of cutting-edge industries. The development is in harmony with other industrial uses within this district. The area was developed to have high ceiling-based areas, open floor plans for multi-uses as existing areas around the proposed site. The applicant is planning on using the product for agricultural and tourism, which is allowed in the A1 zone district, as long as the applicant is considered as a bona fide form. This is why they had to go with CZNR01 because it's not in the ETJ limits. If it was in the ETJ limits, then it pretty much be fair game for what the applicant's asked for all the ag stuff, but then he's in the town limits. He's not a bona fide form for this. As for reasonable and spot zoning, conditional rezoning CZNR01 may be considered reasonable in the public area and not spot zoning because such property is located within the industrial district and will continue to be zoned for industrial and residential use similar to the adjacent properties surrounding under conditional non-residential. Town National definition of non-residential conditional district is to provide for a unified non-residential development, which may include residential complexes that account for the purpose of applicable regulations to the equivalent of the higher degree than where such regulations are intended to control development on individual lots and to promote economical, efficient land use, approve levels of management appropriate and harmonious barrier to create design and federal environment. As we stated, TRC has not met yet. The applicant has submitted a site plan. He has not submitted a full out scale detailed site plan due to one no conditional non-residential rezoning would pass. He did submit a site plan up tonight to show us what the vision is. But of course, once we get all this done, and if it does pass for conditional non-residential zoning, he will submit a more detailed schematic site plan where the TRC will be reviewed. Planning board recommendation will be given to the town council tomorrow night. With conditional non-residential zoning, we can put development conditions on. That is the benefit of this right here. One of the residential is that number one, the applicant has to agree to these development conditions and has to sign a form saying status. So the condition we said was the subject property shall be developed in accordance to approved site plan and applicable requirements of town natural zone ordinance. So if the applicant decides to deviate from what he submits, then we can say, okay, the conditional rezoning right now is off the table. We need to bring it back to the planning board, town council, because we kind of deviated from what scope of work was when we approved it. Subject property may develop with these uses only. These are all the uses. There's no reason to name every one of them again. But all the uses that he has asked for, all of them are in here. Significant or substantial modification or revision to the approved site plan may require additional review by the town Nashville Technical Review Committee, town Nashville Planning Board, as well as reapproval by the town Nashville Town Council at the direction of the planning director or his designee. And like we just stated earlier, if they decide to go with a different scope of work in the site plan than what we approve, of course we bring it back to you guys. Number three, the applicant must abide by section 24.4 noise, where it states unreasonable loud noise or disturbing noise shall not be allowed between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. The applicant, where he's providing for amphitheater is kind of out in the back part wood area, the wetland part of this property. So noise is not something that we're worried about, but we just want to make sure the applicant was aware that the town natural amenity are in the town limits or aware about orders for noise. And as we stated, number four, we say that additional zoning map amendments shall be invalid unless and until the practitioners consent in writing to all the attached development conditions. Mr. Chairman and Board, that is the staff report for this first conditional rezoning in the town of Nashville. We do have the applicant here this evening. He also has his representative here tonight, Mr. Varnell from Stockton Engineer, and Mr. Carnegie is here. I will now yield to the public hearing session where we can open it up, have Mr. Carnegie and Mr. Varnell, whoever choose to represent tonight, to speak to the board, speak on behalf of the board, then we will open it up to the general public for their concerns for talking about it. Then after that, we will come back for discussion and voting matters. Mr. Chairman, I will yield back to you, the board, sir, for the opening of the public hearing, and then from here, it'll be to Mr. Carnegie or Mr. Varnell, see, sir.
Okay. Planning board, I just want to open for public comment, CZ 2024-CZNR01. Now open for public comments, Mr. Stocks. Mr. Varnell from Stocks.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Planning Board. My name is Will Cornegi, the intended developer with WEC LLC and Rag Pink, and look forward to answering any questions you might have for me this evening.
If you quickly, or in summary, what is your vision for this?
So we are intending to create a community destination that encompasses a variety of different aspects for farming, agritourism, education, and food processing. And so our business, Rack Revival, is a vertically integrated business that is a grower, packer, shipper, processor, and nonprofit. And so we are looking to develop various aspects of the campus that people can come and enjoy from the community that add value to the community and to the surrounding communities in the area, and to really be a staple destination for all things agriculture and food and philanthropy here in North Carolina.
Do you have anything you want to add to that?
I'll be happy to stand up and speak, but if you have specific questions, I'll answer them.
Thank you. Anybody from the public would like to speak on this matter? If not, close the public hearing part, Sean.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, as you can see, as you can see in our site plan that Mr. Carnegie and Mr. Varnell has submitted to the town of Nashville, it pretty much explains the vision of where he wants to do with the property.
Yes, sir.
But we will be getting a more detailed oriented one if this fast conditional rezoning, they're ready to start building a vision.
Very good.
As you can see, we have everything listed. They have 10,000 square foot facilities, 3 of those. They have a 40,000 educational center in the front. The outdoor amphitheater is near the rear of the property in the wetlands. The agricultural facility, which is 25,000 square feet, is in the back. They have tiny homes, a fire pit, retail in the front near the parking lot. There's a gravel parking lot with parking spaces there, garden center, and pretty much all the things he wants to do, but we'll be having more of that for the board to look at as we continue on with the process. So now that the public hearing is closed, sir, we now can have a discussion on suggested motions for this evening. Let me catch up.
I'm gonna also ask, since it's been the same drainage, well, see if this is also gonna be Saponi Creek drainage while you're looking at the other, because it's in the very same
I
area.
heard that it was not in the Stony Creek.
So I want you to look, see, that's also in the Saponi Creek drainage.
Yes, sir, we dealing with,
Oh, and I understand what you're saying, I agree with you. Can I ask you a question,
yes, sir.
Mr. Manager? Since this is town's property, any comments on this, considering it's the property of the town being sold? And you can answer there if you want to, that we don't hear you.
This project that Will Carnegie is presenting, Project Sprout, we've been working with Mr. Carnegie for almost 2.5 years on this idea and this project on this property. As you know, the West Nashville Commerce Park, Cook Road, the town bought that in 2013 for the purpose of creating an industrial park and attracting small business and industry to it. It's taken off slowly, probably much slower than the council had intended at the beginning. We have 3 tenants out there, two in buildings, and a third one going to be coming up soon. And then Mr. Carnegie came forth with the vision and an idea for the balance of the property, the 56 acres. So what you see here on the site plan is kind of culmination of the last 2.5 years of efforts to work with a area business on developing that property for jobs and industry for the town of Nashville. So the Nashville Town Council has worked on this project along with Nash County Economic Development. And like I said, this is the fruits of the labor here.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I just think it's important we hear your thoughts on this. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and Board, Mr. Carnegie has agreed to meet with the development conditions that we have proposed for him. Right now, we have given to him a review. Of course, him and his team still, even if it passes tonight, still have time to review and make suggestions. Of course, they make suggestions. Then the condition allows residential is null and void. We have to bring it back and pick up from there with it. But right now, as of today, they have agreed to meet these conditions. Feel like it will not be detrimental to what he's trying to do. So the motion this night will be for approval or disapproval or tabling. Of course, if we do approve it, then we'll have approval for all the uses in this CZNR that Mr. Carnegie has asked for. Of course, if we decide to disapprove, then we have to disapprove it, and then we have to write a statement of consistency of why we want to disapprove it. Of course, statement of consistency for planning reasonableness, if we do approve it, is recommend the 2021 Town of Nashville land use plan because certain property is located in the industrial agricultural zone district and the appropriate use of what the applicant is asked for are allowed in both zone districts as public water and sewer is built to these sites. So he's one of the public interest and not spot zone because such property is immediately adjacent to large industrial tracts of land already existing in the town of Nashville Industrial Place State Park. Of course, if we disapprove it, we will have to write a disapproval while we're discussing. So, Mr. Chairman, I will turn back over to you and the board for discussion, deliberation, and matters of voting proceedings. So,
You asked a question I was curious about too, about conference capital. I'll make a motion.
Mr. Evans made a motion that we approve as written. Second from Mr. Strickland. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? None opposed, it's unanimous. Motion, the approval passes. You'll prepare that for our signature.
yes, sir, I will. We will have this ready for signatures by the end of the week. Of course, we will let the town council know that both rezonings did pass the motions that we're having the staff report tomorrow night. Who passed the motions, all that for town council, and that report. Mr. Chairman, we have nothing else to discuss for business down our special call meeting. We do need to meet on January 28, 2025 at 6 p.m. because we have another rezoning for Red Oak Road that has been proposed to the town.
Okay.
We'll be getting packets out to the board within the next week or two on that, so you have time to review and ask any questions you have, sir. And now, Mr. Chairman, I will ask for action item number 9, which is the favorite motion that everybody endorse, adjournment one.
There's no more business from the board, then I'll ask for a motion we adjourn. Motion, Mr. Strickland, we adjourn. Second, all in favor say aye. We are adjourned.